In the past 2 months, we have been experiencing two epidemics at the same time: the COVID-19 epidemic and a fear epidemic. The disease is new, the fear is not. But what makes this outbreak scarier than it really is? Why are we more scared of a novel coronavirus than, for example, seasonal flu? Although there is enough evidence to show that influenza is the global threat. Psychologists are not surprised at people's irrational fears because it all fits our perception of risk. People use their emotions, not logical analysis, to evaluate risks. No, we're not designed to be rational. Some psychological factors influence our understanding of the coronavirus. First, it's a new threat, so it raises anxiety levels higher than more familiar threats do. This reaction may have to do with our amygdala, which research suggests plays a role in detecting novelty as well as processing fear. And experiments show that the activity in the amygdala increased when participants look at unfamiliar flowers right after seeing the pictures of snakes. Flu is deadly but familiar, so we're not too worried about it. That also explains why we find a plane crash scarier than car accidents, despite the fact that the latter kills more people than the former. To restore some sense of control, you seek information. That's when another Asian mechanism in your mind is triggered: negativity bias. Neuroscience research showed that your brain responds stronger to negative stimulus than positive ones. This instinct makes you sensitive to bad news and may encourage you to seek more of that because bad news has greater impact on our survival and reproduction. That's a result of the evolution and allows us to be alert about potential dangers, but it may also make you a victim. Now think, during this outbreak, have you had this experience that you just can't stop picking up your phone and checking the news about the epidemic? That's because you have been unconsciously going through a habit loop. One piece of bad news becomes a cue, which motivates the search for bad news as a routine, which provides a reward when you acquire such news. Ultimately, reward becomes associated with the cue. Searching bad news has become your new habit. As social animals, we have also evolved to pay closer attention to what other people are paying attention to due to a desire to conform. When an emergency situation occurs, this instinct will result in group panic, spreading the fear from individuals to the entire group. That could explain panic buying during outbreaks. What's even worse is that a fear about this novel risk may create stereotypes leading to stigmatization of a certain group of people. I'm worried about virus, but I cannot tell who is infected, so I stigmatize the entire group that infected people belong to. That's why we unfortunately see the discrimination and hatred against the people from Wuhan, Hubei, and even the entire China. As the epidemic develops, we may also find some psychological phenomena that are counterintuitive. You may think people who live near the coronavirus hotspot should be more worried than those who live far from one. But researchers who studied the 2003 SARS outbreak and 2008 Wenchuan earthquake have found that it might not be the case. Scientists call it the Typhoon Eye, a region of mostly calm weather at the center of typhoon. People living close to the epicenter of disasters seems calmer than others, maybe because they have been overly exposed to the negative news and get used to them, or actively lower their perception to risk in order to protect themselves from anxiety. Instead, people living outside Wuhan are more worried about the situation in Wuhan. Excessive worrying and being too calm can both be dangerous, and stigma, hatred, and slander could inflict real damage to humanity. We need to be aware of this reality, that when it comes to risk, we're not always as wise as we like to think we are.